Welcome back. Let's give you some good news, at least those of you who are, again, I always say, able to watch us and you're not affected by stage 2 blackouts. Amateur triathlete James Gerber is giving back. He admits to having lived a privileged life and wants to give back. Not many people are actually able to come out and say that I've enjoyed privilege. Well, Herbert raised over 500,000 rands in just 6 months, and that was to put an underprivileged child through school. That underprivileged child's name is Risima Mkiba. He'll be attending the prestigious King Edward VII School. His inspiration comes from his parents. So let's find out more from James, who is actually with us in studio now, interrupted his training to come through to studio and talk about this. Thank you so much for even doing that, because I know you'd be running up and down the streets of Johannesburg right now, just getting yourself ready for what it is that you are focusing on. But welcome to eNCA, James. Thank you so much for joining us. The first question that an ordinary South African will probably be asking is, why? Why do this?
I think triathlon gives me a purpose in life. Every day I wake up with a goal to do something, whether that be go for a run, go for a swim, or even cycle. Yeah, it just gives me that motivation to do something each day and make that first step of going forward in life.
So triathlon is already giving you a goal to do something, but then you decided, let me take it a step further. Let me actually do this for a particular purpose, a specific purpose, and that purpose was to try and put a disadvantaged, underprivileged kid through school, and not just any school. You could have put Risima through any kind of school. You went for a prestigious elite school, that being CARES. Why?
King Edward VII School means a lot to me and to my family. All my uncles went there, my dad went there, I went there. So as a family, it means a lot to us. And it gave me everything, pretty much. And if I could give one boy that chance to live that life that we all lived, yeah, I was going to do everything I could to make that happen. Yeah, like I said, CARES gave us everything. So if I can take that financial pressure off a family and allow that kid to reach his full potential, live out the best dreams that he can dream of, yeah, I was going to do everything I could to make that happen.
Run me through the process, excuse the pun. Run me through the process, James. How did you get to Risima Mkiba?
I approached CARES and they gave me a few boys to interview. And then I went through an interview process and, yeah, Risima just stood out for me. He was silently confident. He's a little shy kid. Yeah. But, yeah, something about him just stood out. And I remember leaving the interview and the first thing I said to Senzo was, I think I just met the boy. Yeah. Yeah, and then I met him again. They went for an orientation, so they stayed in the boarding house. And then I met him and his mom again at the end of last year. And, yeah, I just knew I made the right decision.
Him and his family, how did they receive this? Because, I mean, 1 minute as a parent, you don't know what it is you're going to be able to do for your child. You know, I mean, we're talking schoolgoers at this point, where you've got parents who are stressing about how it is they're going to be putting their kids through any kind of school. Guys, King Edward VII School is a prestigious elite school. It has boarding house. I mean, James himself here has been through that school. I know that school very well myself. I've got friends who've been there. So when you are a parent, you're not only stressing about how am I going to get my kid into King Edward VII, you're stressing about how am I going to get my kid into any kind of school. So when you put these news to the parents and to Risima, what was the first reaction? I mean, I can imagine tears came out first.
I never messaged Risima myself to tell him I got the news, but I remember his mom sent me a message and, yeah, she just thanked me so much. Yeah, I won't say it didn't make me a bit emotional, but, yeah, just seeing that reaction, even now, she messaged me the other day and Risima lives quite far away from school. So initially he was just going to be a weekly boarder, but I haven't broken the news to them yet, but, yeah, I'm going to cover his termly boarding costs. And that takes, because initially I wanted to raise 700,000, but yeah, I think I'm going to try and make $1 million now.
You did 500,000 in 6 months. I think $1 million shouldn't be that difficult, especially now that you're here on this particular platform. And this, I would hope, at least encourages other people that have the privilege to do so, that they do it. But let's talk about privilege, James. You are admitting that you grew up, you lived an okay life, you know. And I mean, I want to say okay life because in South Africa, there are a lot of people who only but aspire to living an okay life, you know. You have admitted to having that privilege, and you've decided that you're going to use it for the better of someone else's life. Firstly, how did you get to that point where you felt, I've actually lived a really privileged life, and I would like to see somebody else at least, have a bit of a taste of something that I've lived with all of my life. How did you get to that point?
I think if you drive the streets of Joburg, you avoiding potholes at every road. The power's off 10, 12 hours a day. Luckily enough, at my house, we have a generator. So that just one thing is, it's pretty much everything. We have power the whole day. And it's just small things like that. Like some families grow up, they don't have hot water. They live in the dark for 12 hours a day. It's just the small things, and you turn on the news and everything's so negative. Every time, there's just negativity wherever you look. So if I could be that shining star or that bit of motivation that someone sees and they go, oh, I can actually do something with my life, that's all that I can ask for.
What are you hoping to see with Risima? And I mean, I know you're only helping one child, which it's already one of a lot. He's a representation of a lot of kids. Just helping one kid is already a lot. But what are you hoping to see from him and other kids that do have a James somewhere who feels that I can lend a hand to this particular child? Perhaps maybe not raise 1 million, but maybe raise 100,000 rand, which is already still quite a lot. But what are you hoping to see from a kid like this?
From Risima, I've told him quite a few times that I just want him to do his best. There's no pressure whether he doesn't make an A-team sport or he's not getting academic colours, but as long as he can look himself in the mirror afterwards and say, you know what, I gave it my best, that's all I can ask for, really. Because if he goes home and another boy that's, 8 years old is looking up to him and sees the opportunities that he's been given, maybe that kid back home will give it his best, and somewhere down the line someone will pick him up. Hopefully it's a knock-on effect. Hopefully it's one boy now and 10 boys in 10 years' time. That's the goal. I always say, keep dreaming your wildest dreams that you can think of, because, anything is possible.
In 15 years, he is the next Siya Kolisi, and you're around in 15 years. What becomes your reaction? How do you then look back at this moment when in 15 years' time you are seeing Risima Mkiba standing on some kind of podium somewhere, be it rugby, be it cricket, be it at the Olympics, and he's achieved what many around the world can only but dream of achieving? What becomes your reaction?
Sure, I think I would just be crying my eyes out. I can't say I've thought that far ahead, but if he can reach his full potential, I'm sure that he can shoot for the stars. He's a great kid, and he can do whatever he wants.
Do you understand the magnitude of what it is that you've done, though? Like, do you sit back sometimes in your own little corner, in your own little space, and understand what it is that you've done, where you've taken a kid out of your own goodwill, with unprovoked, with no real reason why you should be doing it, and you've decided that you're going to put a kid through school? I ask that, do you sit there and just say to yourself, or ask yourself, what are you doing? Or what have I done?
Not really. Since I started my triathlon journey, I'm always thinking of the next thing, of the next thing, of the next thing. I'm sure it's going to hit me eventually. Some days I have my moments where I'm like, I've actually achieved quite a bit in 3 years in the sport. But no, I don't think it's hit me fully yet. Maybe watching him play throughout the age groups rugby on the weekends, maybe then it will hit me, or if he runs on for the Reds, if he gets those academic colours, maybe then it will hit me.
Let's talk about the sport. Let's talk about the triathlon. We are in desperate need of a triathlete. I mean, we've got the likes of Hendrik Skuman who are not, who are coming off of their peaks now. We've got the Olympics next year. Has it ever been a thought for you to just try and represent the country at Olympic level?
If I started the sport a bit earlier, I think I would have given it a shot. But because I started so late, my swimming isn't there yet. So I'm much better at the longer distance stuff, so Ironman and half Ironman distances. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's not in the Olympics. So, our races, Ironman world champs and stuff like that.
Do you follow the Olympics? Do you follow like triathletes and do you follow the sport? Do you give it that much attention? And I ask this because I would like to get your thoughts on where South Africa is in terms of breeding the talent of triathletes and maybe even if we separate all the sports, breeding the talent of cyclists in the Olympics, of runners in the Olympics and of swimmers in the Olympics. Do you follow it and what are your thoughts on it?
Yes, I follow all sports. One of my idols in triathlon, he's a young up-and-coming hopeful for the Olympics next year. His name's Jamie Riddle. He probably has no idea who I am, but I follow him on Instagram, and yeah, I really look up to him. Just the way he approaches life, the way he approaches triathlon, what he does. Yeah. It's very inspiring for me. I think there could be a lot more to do for helping up-and-coming young athletes in South Africa. I'm probably at the top of being an amateur, hopefully turning pro next year, and we don't really get any support. So even for me, my dad is my main financial backing. Luckily this year, I've been given the opportunity to represent 2XU South Africa, so they're my first official sponsor. But yeah, if my dad wasn't in a position where he could help me, I wouldn't be able to race the races that I race and carry on doing the sport that I love.
Let's actually have a bit more of that conversation. You know, this is an appeal now to somebody out there. You know, we could talk to government and say the sports ministry needs to probably step up and support a bit more where sport is concerned, and not just support once the victories come, once the medals come back home. You know, do it now when a James is sitting here and is looking to turn pro, but he can only turn pro when there's that financial backing, when there is that support, where opportunities present themselves and you need to then back them financially. So who are you talking to right now? The government, private corporations, or both?
I think both. Yeah, it's a lot of financial backing to be able to pursue triathlon or any sport as your full going if you don't have a day job.
Yeah.
So like, for example, the national team in Denmark currently, all the elite athletes have just been away on a camp for a month. I'm sure all expenses paid. And that opportunity just doesn't happen in South Africa. Yeah. And opportunities like that, there's a lot of talented people out there that just haven't been given that chance. And a lot goes on behind the scenes. It's not just you cross the line and that's your training and that's where you must get noticed. I train 20 to 30 hours a week, and that's just me. And there's a lot of people out there doing the exact same thing. So every day is a 2-4 hour training day. It adds up. Some days are harder than others. Yeah, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I just wish someone at the top level with the financial backing that they have could notice that. Yeah.
Let's go back to Rosima. You partnered up with Match Kit to do this. You partnered up with Mike Sharman.
Yeah.
I actually got in touch with you because of him. Just speak to me about the kind of work that the likes of Match Kit are doing in ensuring that you have a platform to, you know, see out your philanthropy. You know, like how did Match Kit be able to help you do what you did?
The first time I ever met Mike Sharman, I was with my dad, and I don't think I said a word. So he's brought out the James that's always been inside me, being able to voice my opinion. I talk to him almost every day, just about different things. He's set up TV interviews for me. He's reached out to people for me. And just having someone like that means the world. Yeah, I had a fundraising campaign on the 1st of December, and he was my comedian for the night. So just having him and the people that he knows, yeah, it means everything pretty much.
Are you going to do that for somebody else? Or are you hoping that this inspires other people who are in a position of privilege like you are to do it for other people?
I would love to have a boy in each year. That's probably first goal. But for now, if someone can see what I'm doing, I'm just a 24-year-old boy that's living a dream. If I can do it, I promise you anyone can do it. And yeah, if any way you can give back, I just think in South Africa at the moment, that's what everyone needs to do.
I think on behalf of South Africans, on behalf of the underprivileged, some of them aren't able to even watch this interview because, you know, they're not in a position of privilege, but also on behalf of the Mgiba family, thank you for what it is you did. you know, you are a 24-year-old who could just be living his life and enjoying his privilege and enjoying, you know, what it is that his parents are able to provide for him, but you've decided to walk this path. So I want to thank you, you know, from the bottom of my heart. I asked for this interview because this is something that is an incredible story, and I hope that what you do, and you continue to do it, you know, but I hope what you do inspires other people, older, younger, to do what it is you're doing. You're an incredible human being, and may God bless you, you know, for years to come. James, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Much appreciated. That is James Gerber, of course. He is a triathlete, an amateur triathlete who's looking to go pro, and hopefully he does, because the Olympics don't stop in 2024, do they, guys? You're going to get the Olympics again in 2028. So maybe James might be able to represent the country at that particular time. But for now, he's using his triathlon skills to do good, philanthropy, to put a child through school, to raise R1 million to get Risima Mgiba, of course, not just into King Edward VII school, but even into boarding, and to see him through all the way until matric. So, Risima, if you ever do get the opportunity to watch this, you are blessed, my friend, and, you know, may this inspire you as well to just do great things in your life.